Now here, how do you set up your farm? With setting the farm, the first thing you consider is the location, choosing the right location. And with the right location, you need to look at the accessibility of the location. Like I said in the earlier video, the accessibility of the location is very important. Find a land or a place that every time you can visit the farm, whether it rains or not, you can go there easily. So it's also be close to people, like the buyers and then the suppliers of feed and veterinary products. Let it be very close to these people so that if you're transporting them, it will help save you some cost and time and also reduce the stress the pigs to go through to get to their final destination. So choosing the right location is always important when you want to set up your farm. The next is also to look at the availability of water. You know, pigs and pig farming, we use a lot of water on the farm. If not for drinking purposes by the pigs, we use it in cleaning, disinfecting, and washing everything like the equipment on the farm to keep them in a good shape. So you need to also look at the availability of water. Look at the quality of the water available. You know, pigs, if you allow them to be roaming in the environment freely, like in the extensive system, they go to streams by themselves to go and drink if they are available. But once you have not kept them in the room, it means you have to provide not this strange water again, but get them quality water for them to be drinking, and as well as keeping them cool. You know, and pigs they start to stress. This their sweat, they have this sweat glands, but it's not that functional. So when the sun is too much for them, they begin to stress. So all you need to do is to ensure the water is available and it is very quality. It's always flowing. There should be a time that you go to a farm that the water is not flowing. That is not good. If possible, you have a borehole on your farm and then you connect it to your poly tank, connect and then you supply to your pigs. With that, you are controlling your supply of water every time. Aside the availability of water, you need to also assess the climate and then the terrain in the area. The climate, it shouldn't be too humid for your animals. The land should also be waterlogging. Waterlogging in the sense that your vehicles that you use for the farm might even get stuck in the water in case it rains and you go there. You might get stuck on your way to the farm. So look at all these features and for you to determine it right. I always say if possible, always buy your land in the wet season or the rainy season. And you go there and it has rained. Is the water able to run off by itself? Is it drying in a very quick way after it rains? If no, and you see water standing somewhere, and it's not a good idea for you to still go ahead and invest your money into buying that land. And as part of setting up your farm, you need to also consider how you're going to implement biosecurity. Biosecurity, we talk about it often in livestock farming simply because it is one of the first lines of defense that will help to protect your animals from disease outbreak. So you need to ensure that you implement these strict measures, such as controlled access to your farm, who is allowed to enter your farm and at what time. Only allow people that follow the protocols, like by washing their hands, disinfecting themselves to enter the farm. If possible, let only the people that work on your farm to be the ones to enter in and out of it. In my case, if somebody comes to buy animal from me, I don't let the person enter my farm. What I do is I release the animal from the farm and I take it to the person outside the farm for the person to take it away. But I don't let the people get closer to my farm like that. Or if they enter, once they leave, I disinfect the entire place. I spray around it and spray the floors to ensure that if there are potential pathogens, they are taken care of by these disinfectants that we use. So you need to implement biosecurity to protect your farm. And as part of having this effective biosecurity, you need to have 2 points on your farm, the entry and then the exit. If someone comes through this way, the person must go straight and leave through the other end, but shouldn't come back and forth. So if the people enter this way, be it vehicles or people, once they enter this way, let them go straight and then exit through the other end. In that case, you're able to know how to structure it. If there are some internal pathogens, they remain on your farm because you have already set maybe a foot bath at the entrance. People dip their feet into it, disinfect themselves and go. So once they enter your farm, definitely if there are some pathogens on your farm also, like inside the farm, they also leave to the exit. And before they leave the exit, they disinfect and they leave the farm. In that case, the internal parasites are allowed to be remain on your farm. They don't take it out. And they don't also bring anything into your farm. So that's also one of the things you need to consider when you're going to this big farming in terms of biosecurity. And as part of setting up your farm, you need to look at the flooring. The flooring is just about how you're going to level the ground. In one case, I use the cemented floor. So if you're using the cemented floor, you ensure that you can clean it adequately. You open outlets so that if you want to clean, you clean and then you wash it, and the water will be able to flow smoothly through it and go out of it. And if you're also using the slated one, you know this slated one, they are those with hooves so that the droppings of these animals will be able to fall through them and not to stay in the pen. With this kind of structure, what you do is you raise the building high enough and then you will put the slated floors on it. Anytime the pigs leave their droppings or their waste on it, it falls through the hose and comes down, which you can later maybe flush it from below, and then it goes into a drainage system where you can then convert it either into manure by composting it and supply it to your land for crop propagation. If you're using a cemented one, in my case, you don't have to let it be too smooth. If it is too smooth, if your pigs are mating, especially in their natural way, the balls and the sows do not get a firm grip of the ground. When the semen from them starts to wet the floor, you see them slipping everywhere like that. So you need to ensure that if you're using the cemented floor, after you have used the cement and the sand, everything to ensure the floor is constructed, you get a broom, sweep over the surface to create this kind of rough surface for the animals to have a grip of it. And it shouldn't also be too rough to cause harm to the legs and the feet of your animals. Again, as part of setting up your farm, you need to also consider the ventilation. The ventilation here is about the quality of the air you have. If where you are located, you have these utilities as light, install maybe fans to also keep the place very cool for them at all times. Some also install windows to ensure that fresh air blows inside it, in and out like that for the animals to stay cool. But in our situations, and like every beginner starts, myself here, I don't have that in my location. So what I do is you raise the roof high enough to ensure natural air circulation inside, so that will blow the fresh air into it, and then the stale air will go through the down ones and leave the farm. And this, if you have good ventilation on your farm, it keeps your farm from smelling badly. This people are not going to do it to you. And your animals will also look neat. You know, pigs, their feces and the urine they produce is full of ammonia gas. And this gas, once they start inhaling it or it stays in the farm for long and the animals start inhaling it, that is where you see them coughing and having all these kind of respiratory issues, running nose, and a whole lot of things happen. So you don't want this to happen to animals. Ensure that the ventilation is very good and the place is always calm, that you yourself you feel comfortable when you're standing in there.